Odin. If your only image of him comes from movies or video games, then you've never met the real god from the old myths. He's not the Almighty. He's the All-Father, the ancient father of all things. And with all due respect, if Odin is watching, he knows this is true. Odin. In Norse mythology, he is called the All-Father, and for good reason. He is one of the major gods of the Norse pantheon, the god of war, death, magic, knowledge, wisdom. In short, he handles a lot of things, and he handles them as best as he can. As the chief of the Aesir, one of the two great divine clans in Norse mythology, Odin, in his youth, together with his brothers Vili and Ve, all three sons of Bor, one of the first giants, took part in the slaying of the Titan Ymir, which is the primordial giant, a force of both creation and destruction. He ravaged the landscapes wherever he passed, tearing them apart and reshaping them, but also creating new forms, new reliefs every time. At the same time, he was permanent danger for the beings who lived beneath him. That is why Odin, Vili, and Ve decided to kill him. And from Ymir's body they shaped the words. After creating the words, Odin chose to bring order, and above all to save and preserve at all costs the cosmic order he had established around Yggdrasil. So he set out on a quest for knowledge and wisdom to be prepared for everything, for every possible threat, I would say. This quest first pushed him into sacrificing one of his eyes, which he cast into Mimir's well, in exchange for ultimate wisdom. Then, following the guidance of the Norns, he hanged himself upside down from Yggdrasil, his spear driven into his side to gain the knowledge of the runes, the words of power, and that knowledge became his curse. Living beings, gods and mortal alike, were not meant to know everything, and the Norns punished Odin for his will to know more than he should. They showed him how everything he had built would one day disappear. They revealed to him the prophecy of Ragnarök. Every action he took was guided by that single goal. That is why he sought out Loki and brought him to Asgard to try to turn him into a friend and ally, and so avoid Ragnarök. That is why he brings the most prestigious warriors who die in battle into his hall to form his army for Ragnarök. That is why also he had children to prepare them for Ragnarök. In short, Odin is a first-class paranoid. Let's not lie. Odin is a paranoid god who lives in fear. And that fear, that obsession, makes him a real bastard. At least if you're not going along with his plans. If you do, then everything's fine. He's called the All-Father because he fathered many gods, of course, but also because he made possible the creation and appearance of life itself. But that is far from his only name. He's also called Gungnir, the Wanderer, the Hanged God, the Raven. Odin has many names as there are ways to die. He's accompanied by two ravens, Huginn and Muninn, out and Memory, who fly across the woods and report back everything that happens there. We also have two wolves, Geri and Freki, who walk at his side when he hunts or rides into battle. Odin can take many different forms. He can appear as an old bearded man in a grey cloak and hat, hiding his true face, wandering through the woods in search again and again of knowledge and of people whose fate seems particularly interesting. But he can also appear as a powerful king, an invincible warrior wielding his spear Gungnir, a weapon forged by dwarfs, on which any oath sworn could never be broken, and which, once thrown, never missed its target. Could even return to the hand Sona. He rides the eight-legged horse Sleipnir, child of Loki, and the only one of Loki's children who remains loyal to the Old Father, by the way. Husband of Frigg, Queen Mother of Asgard. Odin had many children. First, Thor, whom he had by deceiving his wife. Then Balder, Hermod, Vidar, his youngest, Vali, and many others. Like another god you might know, of course, Zeus. He had a great number of illegitimate children as well. Demigods born on Earth to fill his ranks and strengthen his army. Odin will lead his armies into battle on the day of Ragnarök, where he will fall facing the giant wolf Fenrir, son of Loki. And it is his son Vidar who will avenge him by slaying the beast. Odin, I think, is an extremely interesting god, but also one who is very easy to misunderstand. In fiction, he's often shown as paranoid, a king obsessed with control, ruling over his kingdom, war, never leaving his throne. Yes, he's driven by fear, but also by the will to see life and order prosper. For him, if the Night Worlds could thrive with no more threats looming over them, he would have fulfilled his purpose. But the constant imminence of Ragnarök prevents him from being at peace, from simply existing without worrying about the time that passes. We could say much more about Odin, because we know a lot about him. I hope this brief presentation will help you see him more clearly and forget some of the nonsense that TV video games made about this character. Because once again, they're making some personalized Odin, which is 1,000 years apart, I'd say. So guys, if you enjoy this story, feel free to share it.